I cannot tell you how excited I am about our next interview. I'm joined in the studio today by Lil Miss Hot Mess and Black Benatar from the Drag Queen Story Hour. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell me a story right now?
What's your name again?
Carrie.
There once was a young person named Carrie, and she had a dream, and she followed that dream until she found herself under the bright lights of Austin, Texas, where she began to meet different people, interviewing them, such as Little Miss Hot Mess and Black Benatar. And here we are, full circle, inside of your dream.
Wow, you did that right off the cuff. I love it. It's like you're good at your job. So how did you guys come up with the idea for this organization?
So Drag Queen Story Hour was started by Michelle T., Julian Delgado Lopera, and Virgie Tovar in San Francisco in 2015. And Michelle was a young parent, or a new parent, and was really looking for a place to bring her kid, to expose her kid to elements of queer culture and education. And I think it was just finding that the regular story hours, the regular, everyday Saturday morning story hours just weren't living up to the potential that they had in the world, and had this, just so crazy idea it might work to bring queens and children together and see what happened.
I mean, I have a child and she's growing up in San Francisco, so yes, this is this is something that she would definitely love. How big is your group today, and how many states and cities have chapters?
So we're an international network, and we have about 50 chapters around the world. San Francisco, Tucson and Phoenix area, New York City, Los Angeles, Raleigh, North Carolina,
Japan.
El Paso, Texas, Japan, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Germany, Australia, all over the world. Sweden, yes. Shout out to Sweden.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So, since founding in 2015, Drag Queen Story Hour has experienced both a rise in popularity, but also controversy. What have been some of your personal highs and lows for this community?
Well, I think my personal low, we'll start with the low and go to the high. The low was, I think the first time that I really was yelled at or hate speeched was going to a kids' drag ball where we were bringing together gender diverse children and their families to connect and have a really kind of wholesome environment where just gender diversity was the standard, so there was no sort of othering. And as I was going in, we were yelled at, just saying, that we're going to be sending kids somewhere where the sun doesn't shine, and that was a low. That was a low, but it led to a high because it told me that we're doing something really great. Like if these folks are coming to protest or say anything, then we're making the world safer for these kids who are inside of those walls.
So they had the opposite effect of what they were trying to do. So maybe they should just be quiet.
Maybe.
How about you? What are your highs and lows?
I mean, I'll start with my low as well. Getting hate mail, getting occasional death threats, having to worry that something terrible could happen at an event. But truly the highs are like the small, just intimate interactions with children. There's one in particular when I was living in New York City where these girls, they didn't even come for story hour. They just happened to be there in the library and sort of found their way over and asked me like a million bajillion questions afterwards. And in my mind, it was like we were at a slumber party, like braiding each other's hair by the end of it. You know what I mean? They were touching my hair. They were asking me questions. They wanted to know how the glitter sticks to my face and, where I came from and what I was doing in their library, but in such a generous, understanding, thoughtful way. So
there was a really beautiful time when you're doing a story hour and they're all different ages, but they're the sort of like shorties when they're sort of like Gumby and they kind of mill around like cats. I think a high for me is when I have to perform through a very small child stealing my light, just like stealing the camera lights, stealing the show. But there's no better audience, there's no tougher audience, but there's not a more gratifying audience.
Amen.
And an honest audience.
Oh, honey.
Oh, yes. They will tell you and they will ask the questions.
Yes.
And sometimes the questions sound cutting, but they really are just questions.
It's wonderful.
As long as they come from a place of curiosity, because they're kids, they don't have that same agenda. So if an adult said it, maybe it would feel bad. But because it's a kid, you're like, no, you just really want to know.
Right. And that curiosity is what we're trying to bring out, right? That just by walking in the room and being these over-the-top, shiny, sparkly princesses, queens, superheroes, whatever we are to these children, we're inviting them to ask questions. We want them to not only ask questions of us, but also ask questions of the world and why things are, the way they are, why they've always been done the same way, and how can we change them.
Okay, so what is your message to communities that express opposition to Drag Queen Story Hour, and how do you win them over?
Come to an event. Have a story read to you. There is nothing better than being read to. Everyone loves it, no matter what age. So come on in. You might find that you'll get inspired.
I like it. What's your favorite story to tell?
Ooh. I really like, it's a cross between Worm Loves Worm, which is about two worms who have no gender, and a bunch of bugs who are saying, you have to be the bride, you have to be the groom, you have to wear a belt, you have to wear, they're like, we don't have fingers, we don't have waists, like we can't do any of that. Until finally they're like, can we just get married because worm loves worm?
Oh, that's cute.
And then I think Bodies Are Cool is my second favorite. Look it up.
I will. I absolutely will.
Yeah, and I love, I love both of those books as well. I also love Neither by Ellie Anderson, which is a story about this kind of part rabbit, part bird kind of creature that's neither nor, and goes to the land of make-believe and kind of finally encounters all these other animals that are these interesting combinations that are, in between and almost and maybe and all these sorts of things. So
sounds like Hogwarts to me.
Yes.
So how do you decide which books to read to kids, and are they usually gender acceptance themed, or do you read books on other subjects as well?
We do read a lot of books around gender and around LGBT history and culture, also around, challenging racism and kind of just standing up for yourself and for each other. Also a lot of books on kind of finding your inner voice and expressing your creativity in the world. I mean, part of drag is about gender and playing with gender and upending gender expectations, but a lot of drag is also just about using your imagination and creating a new world and making yourself over so that the world is ready for you.
We read books that come from different knowledge bases. So architecture is one of we read these adorable books about the built environment, about how kids can actually dream of impacting the world that they exist in. So it's really broad.
Well, so Little Miss Hot Mess, you are an author as well. Tell us about your soon-to-be released book. You're a drag queen and you know it.
Yes, so I already have the hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 which has been out for a couple of years. I didn't want to name it as my favorite book because I wanted to shout someone else out.
Yeah, no, we'll shout you out. Swish, swish, swish.
Swish, swish, swish. And yes, the much anticipated follow-up is If You're a Drag Queen and You Know It. And both books are really about getting kids to kind of feel what it's like to step into drag in their own bodies, to swish their hips, to shimmy their shoulders, to shout, yes, queen, and to feel that fabulosity and to let that reflect out into the world in a bigger way.
Is there a special way to shimmy? Am I doing it right?
Oh, you're doing it right. Any way you shimmy is the right way to shimmy.
Okay, I got a lesson. Good. What do you all do when drag performing or reading stories, or what do you do when you're not doing that? What's your normal life?
Oh, our normal life. Well, I don't have a normal life. Normal is a setting on a dryer, as Flawless Sabrina used to say. But I'm actually a professor. I teach public humanities at the University of Arizona. So I get to teach little ones at Story Hour and then bring some of the same kind of techniques into my classrooms with bigger kids as well. Do
your students know you are this fabulous in your off time?
I tell them, but I'm not sure they fully appreciate just quite how fabulous I am. But it's sort of fun having a bit of a double identity because every now and then I introduce a little bit of drag, and that's when I know when kids are paying attention, if they connect the dots.
Is I'll tell you, when I see teachers out in the real world when I was a kid, it would freak me out when they were out of context.
Yes.
And I was at a place where one of my daughter's teachers walked past me and he was just like, "What are you doing here? Parents aren't supposed to be here." I think it would be amazing to find out my professor was this.
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, I wish I had this when I was a student as well. And yeah, maybe not like late night at the drag club, but other times, story hours for sure.
All right, so tell me about your performance that you're getting ready for over at the Convention Center. And do you feel like giving us a little preview?
I had not even considered that.
The answer can be no. We are a safe space here.
I left my book off set. Can I run and go grab it? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
In the meantime.
What do I do when I'm not all glamour? I'm a performer. I have a cabaret show, Black Benatar's Black Magic Cabaret, which is family-friendly queer programming that helps people explore race and inclusion. And I'm also an equity, diversity, and inclusion trainer and consultant for organizations and entities that are looking to step towards anti-racist practices in their institutions.
So you've got a big life.
What, is there any other kind of life to have?
Clearly not. What book do we have today?
So I did bring my own book, The Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish, 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 written by yours truly and illustrated by Olga de Dios. And yeah, do you want to sing a few lines with us?
We get to sing?
We get to sing. This is a singing book.
Oh my.
Oh my. We can sing if you don't want to. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go. The hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 swish. The hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 all through the town. The hair on the drag queen goes up, 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 up. Up, up, up. The hair on the drag queen goes up, up, up. All through the town. Do one more. The shoes on the drag queen go stomp, 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 stomp. The shoes on the drag queen go stomp, 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 all through the town.
Yay!
Thank you for
Okay,
singing along.
I can see why kids would like this. This is fun. I love sing-along stuff.
You know, and it makes learning irresistible, right? Like, we're bringing the party to them, and like you were saying, everyone wants to join.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to join, it's their loss.
And that's a familiar tune, and they can sing it, and I think it's going to help with reading because you're actually looking at the words that you know.
Yes.
It is so wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
There's learning through spectacle. Part of learning is attention.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard to not pay attention to such beauty.
Fabulosity.
Fabulosity.
Okay, so what are your number one tips for me to become fabulous? I feel like I need a little fabulousness. Do you have a tip for me?
I think it's really about looking inside yourself and finding something that you want to amplify. You know, the sparkles, the hair, the makeup, that's all the exterior, that's the armor, but it's really about, letting your loud voice out in a different way.
I'm hearing wear more glitter and get bigger hair. I love
too.
both
That
of those
too.
things.
Surefire way.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, this has been the best. Thank you so much for being here at the studio today. I have to say, this is the biggest smile I've had. I'm all giggles.
This is making people smile.
That is our joy.
Well, you're doing it. Everybody's finding their joy in special ways. Thank you for giving me this today.
Thank you.
For having us.
What a cool organization. Oh my gosh. And I love that you guys are global. You are all around the world. And I mean, so is Story Owl also in different languages?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes, we have, right now, to date, we've had Spanish, French, and Cantonese. But we are always looking to add more diverse readers to
Sign language?
We are working on sign language. We have a lot of trainings that right now we've focused on neurodiversity, so work reading for kids who have autism.
Oh, wow.
Things like that. So ASL is definitely on our list. We like to work through our trainings to keep our readers and storytellers really tooled up. And
Yes.
I think it's the New York chapter has been really leading and sharing so many fruits with all of the networks. Yep.
Wait, so during pandemic, did you guys just go virtual? What did you do?
Yes, there was a lot of from here up. There was a lot of
Yes.
sweatpants on the
Yes.
bottom. And
I mean, we
no
all did that.
shoes, and
We all did that.
Yeah, but Facebook Live, Zoom, all these sorts of things. And it was fun, but it's also hard when you don't have that immediate reaction from
feedback.
the children. You might get a chat, maybe once in a while you do a Zoom where, actually the Zooms were the best because sometimes kids would show you their dolls or show you their dress up or,
their
show you
pets.
their drawings of drag queens, their pets. It was amazing, but a lot of it did feel weird being, as we all know, cooped up in our houses, shouting into the ether, essentially.
Do you have any kids?
I do not have kids.
So all the kids are your kids?
All the kids, yes.
Oh.
Amen.
That is wonderful. So do you have a fan club? Because I'm thinking I want to join.
The fan club
Yeah.
is going ahead and signing up onto our website at dragqueensstoryhour.org. And we have a newsletter that you can be a part of, and sign up on all of our socials, Instagram as well as Facebook, and we'll keep you informed as to everything going
Yes.
on.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. I am so happy to have been able to talk to you, and I will be signing up for that newsletter.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was Drag Queen Story Hour.
That I get here.
They will be performing live today at 4 o'clock in the Austin Convention Center, room 16AB. You can see the complete interview schedule at southbysouthwestedu.com/studio. And you can find all of our studio interviews on the South by Southwest EDU TV app, available on Apple TV, Roku, Android TV, and Amazon Fire. Thanks for watching.
Bye.